It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on what is turned into a little bit of a dicey Thursday in Nashville with this rain and maybe sleet and freezing rain and on and on and on. It could get a little hairy out there. So if you're watching this live and thinking about driving later, do be careful and hope to God that I'm not out there with you. Let's go to Murfreesboro. Say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, how are you today?
I'm good, George. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, looking nice in your teal. Is that teal? Is that a teal sweatshirt?
It is just simply green.
Okay.
A gift from the folks at Last Minute Toy Store.
Okay, I can't say anything about that.
No,
It's
and
nice.
don't you dare go there. Let me also make clear, Kelly, I don't care what you think as
I
far
think you do. I think you do.
Oh, no, it does not bother me at all. Because you are not exactly God's gift to clothing.
Compared to you, yes, I am.
That may be true, but when I look at your wardrobe, what I see is a lot of free stuff. A lot of you've got friends in the sporting goods world, and they've just dumped a lot of used junk on you, and you wear it.
I wish I could say that. I mean, I used to get a lot of free stuff, lots of free stuff.
Yeah.
But now, since I've been out of the profession for so long, I get nothing free anymore.
I would think, though, that this show will increase your visibility, not necessarily your popularity, but visibility. You'll do well.
Yeah, if you get the right person out of the 25 that watch us, that'll be great.
Wow. Hello, Billy.
Hello, George. It's always good to hear from Mr. Positive.
Yes, it is. Now, on your wardrobe, it's not summer. I don't know how to tell you any more specifically, but
I am indoors. I don't know if it's chilly up in the old rec room for you, George, but it's actually my room is upstairs, so it's pretty warm in here.
Okay.
I'm sure Billy, I'm sure George is trying to save money, so he's probably got it down to 59 degrees.
Oh, man.
Us, on the other hand, got it up to 69, 70. You know, we want to feel a little warmth.
Yeah.
It's supposed to refreeze tonight.
You know,
Ridiculous.
Has this ever happened?
Yeah, we had one in 1994. I was headed to Ruston, Louisiana to do a Western Kentucky La Tech game, and we had a big ice storm. And I got caught in Memphis for about 3 days. Obviously, the game never happened. When I got back on Friday, remember, this was radio, and I was trying to get phone calls. And, I mean, I could have been Stephen A. Smith, and I couldn't get a phone call. Our studio was located in the penthouse at 1808 West End Avenue. Later, when I contacted our engineer, who was a darn good one, I found out that basically we were getting from the penthouse, 1808, to the cathedral about a block and a half away.
Yep.
So if you were in that block and a half, thank you for listening that day.
Broadcast excellence.
No question.
Oh, man. Well, we ready for the update?
Well, do you have one?
I do.
Okay. Is it a good one? Because Kelly's going to grade you.
Okay, here we go. Well, it appears there's plenty of interest all of a sudden after talking yesterday about no interest in Mike Vrabel. He's interviewing for the Chargers. all of a sudden the Chargers must have heard us yesterday and said, you know what, we're going to interview Coach Vrabel. So interesting with, of course, Pete Carroll departing. Well, he's actually still there. He'll be, in the administration. I don't know what you call that, what role he'll be in there, but
Billy, what is Pete
Billy,
Carroll
you're talking about
to do with the Chargers?
Seattle or the
oh
Chargers?
my, I already failed this update. Not Seattle, the Chargers. Okay, so the Seahawks. What I meant to say.
Billy, do you have something to say?
What I meant to say. I was gonna say the Seahawks and the Falcons also have interest in Coach Vrabel. So it started.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Who else? Who else in the Falcons?
Seahawks.
Seattle.
Okay. Let's put the cards on the table here. Kelly, let's boil this down to the low gravy. Ready?
Yeah.
Here's the way it is. Vrabel got fired 9 days ago. What these teams want to hear from him, because there's a respect level for him that's pretty good.
Yeah.
There are also certain warts that we know about. Let's just take the Chargers, for instance. The Chargers believe they are very close to being a championship contender type with an absolute stud at quarterback.
Yep.
Okay. What they don't want to hear from Vrabel is when they ask the question, okay, who's your offensive coordinator going to be? They don't want to hear Todd Downing. They don't want to hear his good old boy network. They want to hear a name that'll have them go, oh, whoa, okay, now we're talking. And to me, and tell me if you disagree with this, but in the last 9 days, Vrabel had better be on the horn doing better than Todd Downing.
Yeah, I think so too. We've talked about it over and over and over again. He's got to change his offensive philosophy. Now you've got a really good young quarterback if he does go to the Chargers that is going to be there for a long time. He's a tough guy. He was unfortunately he got a little banged up this year and couldn't fight through it. But I think when you've got somebody at that position that's as talented as he is, I think it kind of forces you into that situation. It kind of forces you to know, hey, we got a stud at quarterback. We've got to bring somebody in here that is very well aware of his abilities and well aware of a good passing attack. And that's what we got to do. We've got to help him. We've got to get whatever he needs. If we got some offensive line issues, if we got to we got to build people around him. And I think that kind of forces him to get out of his Woody Hayes mentality.
Billy, let's take this a step farther. If the Chargers were to hire him, the media out there, their first question is going to be, God forbid that we're going into this 3 yards in a cloud of, SoFi turf kind of deal. And so that's what they're going to be waiting to pounce on. And if Vrabel in his interviews doesn't have good answers, better answers than the Todd Downing good old boy kind of thing that appears to have gone on here, then he's not going to get these jobs. Now, if he's got a good answer, if he's gotten on the horn in the last 9 days and secured a stud offensive coordinator, then we got a totally different story.
Yeah, I'm glad. I agree with Kelly. He's going to have to change his ways. I mean, you can't – I mean, which team has won the way he wants to win, and it feels like he wants to win? Which team has won a Super Bowl like that in the last decade? It hasn't happened. So I also wonder how would he want to coach and live in Los Angeles? I don't, like I said, I don't know that I see that as a fit. I think Jim Harbaugh. I thought of him as a better fit maybe in LA. Now again, this interview could mean nothing. We can't get ahead of ourselves, but I'm with Kelly. He's going to have to change his ways. Because especially with their skill set with Justin Herbert, and they got some good receivers, they do have a good defense, but I just don't see the Chargers winning like that. Maybe you can win like that in Pittsburgh, or, the Titans got to the AFC title game, but I don't see that what he wants to do being a fit in LA. So yeah, he's got to change.
Billy, this is all about in the interview, and it's not going to take long to get to it. You know, after they get through did you enjoy Nashville? Is the music there as good as they say? Tell us who your offensive coordinator is.
Yeah.
He damn well better have a really good answer if he wants to get one of these jobs. It's that simple.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, otherwise, the Cowboys, I think a lot of people thought this might be the end of the road for Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones believes the team is very close to achieving ultimate goals of winning a Super Bowl. And there was a lot of people. I saw on ESPN, Dan Orlovsky came out and said, this is all talk. They're not trying to win a Super Bowl. They're not trying to do what it takes. But I don't know. I mean, Mike Vrabel's not Mike Vrabel. Mike McCarthy's well respected with the Cowboys. They had some players come out and voice their respect for him. But the Cowboys are committed to him, and Cowboy fans, I don't think, are very happy about that.
So we're going to get into this in the 240 block. But, Kelly, here's one thought. Jerry Jones has put out there the, regular season continuity and all this kind of stuff that the people in Dallas are about to barf over. But where was this when he and Jimmy Johnson had a few cocktails too many years ago, and he then the next day basically booted the guy that brought him 2 world titles? Now, maybe he's learned, but maybe he's learning the wrong way.
Well, I do know this. You remember that press conference way back when, man. You remember when Jimmy Johnson just put it out there, that he doesn't know as much as I know about the game of football. And that's where that came to a head. You understand that? So now Jerry Jones, he learned from that, and he learned that he had, the way that he runs his organization, it seems to me like he likes yes men, like they're going to do exactly what I say. And I don't know. I don't know if I go as far as Dan Orlovsky either. They better learn on defense. They've got guys that can rush the passer. They got a really good defense, but they can't stop the run. So they better get some guys in the interior part of that, that D line, and they better get them some bigger linebackers that can stop the run. And then, they're going to have to send Dak. The mentality-wise, he's going to have to get over being in the playoffs, and he's going to have to win a big game. That's just point blank. And he won 12 games this year. I understand that. But when it boils down to it with what Jerry Jones wants and what the Dallas fans want, they want a Super Bowl, or they want to be in the NFC Championship at least, where they've got a shot. And they hadn't even been close in years, man. It's crazy.
Here's where this franchise really has some problems, Billy. When Green Bay basically said to them by saying, we've won the toss and we want the football.
Yeah.
We're about to shove this up your butt.
Yeah.
And when they did, oh my God, not only did the Metroplex go, oh my God, but the pressure that is built up internally, there was a panic that set forth from that. Once Green Bay scored to go up 7-0, the panic meter went
way up.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Jerry Jones acted like after this loss, he goes, I was shocked. I couldn't believe this. What are you talking about? This happens every year. They act so dumbfounded that this happens. I'm like, this is who you are. This is what you are.
But in fairness, I don't think any of us believed they would look that unprepared. That's the part that I can't get to, Kelly, is in a meeting between Jerry Jones and McCarthy, Jerry had to turn to him and say, you all looked clueless on everything. Your cornerbacks have these just ridiculous cushions on 3rd and 7. And it just was, it was a complete and total breakdown.
I don't know. Unprepared, that's your word. I don't know if they were unprepared because everybody goes into it, but you have to play you have to play good. And Dak Prescott started the game off, and the whole team goes as the quarterback goes. And he started off bad. He did not play good in the first half. He ended up losing the game. My college coach used to say, as a quarterback, you can't win the game by yourself, but you can lose one all by your lonesome. And that's exactly what happened. And George, you're absolutely right. And I said it the other day, like, that was a great job by Matt LaFleur of taking that. He knew that their weakness was stopping the run. They smashed it down their throat. They made a couple of play action passes, went up 7-0. Dallas got the ball, didn't do anything. They went up 14-0. That was ball game, man, if you look back on it, because the pressure, not only from the team and the coaching staff, everybody puckered up, but the stands, man, the fans in the stadium, you could feel the tension. And they knew it was happening, and there was nothing they could do about it. So, unprepared, you just got to play good, George. And when big moments come like that as a quarterback, that's what you're known for. That's what gets you to winning Super Bowls. That's what gets you into the first ballot of Hall of Fame talks. And you got to be willing. You got to be able to do that. And he just, for some reason, I like Dak Prescott. I really do, man. I like him a lot. I think he's a really good quarterback. But until he gets over that, that's what people are going to think about him.
Packers ran it down their throat, and now they're headed to San Fran.
Billy, they need to get in a room, that franchise, and turn on Billy Joel's song "Pressure."
Yeah,
pressure.
Yeah.
Lou on Facebook says, "Let's see what happens to him in San Fran." The Packers obviously have a big challenge in San Fran. So
yeah, but here's the thing: they're making the trip to San Fran.
They're there.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're there.
Now, they may get their ass handed to them. Who knows?
But they're there.
They're there.
Well, Mike Tomlin's still in Pittsburgh, too. He looks like he's not going anywhere. We talked about it a lot. Just days after walking out of the post-game news conference during a question about his future, I don't know where this – of course, Jay Glazer brought up his report that Tomlin could consider, taking a break, whatever, retiring, whatever it would be. But he did say, I expect to be back, and I would imagine that those contract things are going to run their course. So the Steelers, I did see something where they've had 3 head coaches in the span of the last 60 years or something like that.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. It's Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Tom.
And Mike Tomlin.
And here's the thing, Kelly. He's had 17 non-losing years in a row. But here's where the rubber meets the road. He's got a quarterback problem.
Well, and they haven't won a playoff game in 6-7 years, something like that. So
I think the last 5 times they've been to the playoffs, they haven't won. So
yeah.
Mike Tomlin, if he's having problems whether he wants to coach anymore, he might need to go to the same place that Aaron Rodgers goes to every year and get in a dark room and just think about things.
For how long?
I mean, a couple of days. I mean, let's go with it.
Okay, college basketball last night. Auburn just throttled Vandy 80-65. I know we're going to get into that in the 3:00 hour with Coach B. Kentucky had a big win over Mississippi State, 90-77, and LSU beat Ole Miss at home, 89-80. So big win there for LSU. Also, we got the Preds and Kings tonight, 9:00. So for those staying home, tune on the Preds tonight. Kings are good.
Preds are good.
Preds are good too.
Sometimes.
We'll see what Gee thinks.
Yes, Mark McGee will join us after the break. Then Ron Bargatze at 3:00, and we're going to play the what if game with him. And what I mean by that is this. I'm going to go on the assumption that Jerry Stackhouse is going to get fired. About the best they can do is something in the neighborhood of 9-22. The most SEC wins they're going to have is probably 4. They're 0-4 already. So how is the Vandy job perceived today? Because it's now been 6-7 years since this thing has been relevant. Now, Jerry can give us all this BS that all's fine, remain calm. Well, this just in, I'm not. How about that?
How about that?
So stay tuned. This is going to be a lively show today. Stick around.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Well, as Billy mentioned earlier, the Preds are on the road. They're in the middle of what I think is a 3-game road trip. I know they're in Arizona Saturday. LA Kings tonight out at the Staples Center. And before we bring Mark McGee in, Billy, let's show right now where the standings are, because this is going to be the story really from now until April. As you can see, in the point totals, right now, Nashville and Edmonton are sitting there tied with 49 points, but Edmonton has played 4 less games, and that's an important stat. I think most people in the NHL believe that Edmonton is going to run and hide with all that talent. Then it becomes a battle for the 8th spot. likely with the Preds, Calgary, Seattle, Arizona, St. Louis. It's a jumbled up deal. And so every night is really important. Let's bring Mark McGee to our microphones to talk about it. Gee, it's kind of the same story, and hopefully it will continue to be the same story till the end of the season.
It is going to be, I think. What's the saying? Every game's a playoff game. That's really true right now, especially for the Predators. Well, actually, for most teams in the Western Conference, because, like I said, there's a kind of a jumbled up deal there. Edmonton looks like they're going to make a move. Everybody's expecting them to. They have started to with the win streak they had the other day, and from a while back, and so they're still moving up. And I think they're going to. The rest of the league, I don't know so much about. I really don't. So hard to say right now. But the Kings tonight, big game. Kings have lost 9 out of 10. They're coming back home, kind of limping back home after a bad road trip, and so they're trying to. Their fans are upset about so they're going to try to make their fans a little happy tonight and try to pick up a win. And it's going to be a tough game for the Predators doing that with them. And when the Kings have 50 points, they're just 1 point ahead of the Oilers and the Predators both. And so it's a big game in a lot of different ways. Like I said, it's a 3-game road trip. They do close out with Arizona. It's a bizarre last part of the month for them because they come from home from Arizona to play Florida. Then they go back on the road and play Minnesota and go to Edmonton. And for some unknown reason, they continue it to Ottawa before they come back home. It's a bizarre road trip situation for them. So, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes tonight. This is a key game. Like every game's a key game now, but they knock off the Kings, knock off Arizona. It gives them a points gap for sure.
Guy, on the positive with the Preds are 3 road wins that I don't believe they would have gotten in the last couple of years. Overtime at Carolina, twice at Dallas. Let's talk about why are they having so much success at Dallas when in the last couple of years that never was the case?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Dallas has not really played well at home for some unknown reason. So they're a little bit more vulnerable this season at home than they have been in the past. I think that's added to it a little bit. They've struggled on their home ice a little bit. So, plus I think this team they're playing a much more aggressive brand of hockey. It's not a very structured brand of hockey, but it's a real aggressive brand of hockey. And I think that's given them a little bit of an edge against Dallas as well. So, they're coming out a little bit stronger offensively across the board. I think that helps quite a bit too.
On the negative, about the time that you say to yourself, hey, this is much improved, they then 2 or 3 times at home have laid big old stink bombs that have you walking out going, I'm confused. What do you think that's all about?
They're confused too. They're confused too. There's, like I said, it's a new approach to playing hockey, and sometimes, especially the defense movement has to be much more aggressive, especially on the offensive side of things. And they're not always, they're not always attuned to that for some reason because it's a new approach for them. So I think that's hurt a little bit at times. There are times where there are just periods where they just don't seem like they want to play the game that period.
So let me try this one on you. We have always believed that Philip Forsberg could take another step. And to me, he's gone from very good to emerging superstar. He's having a superstar year. In your mind, as Barry Trotz tries to evaluate short-term, trying to get this team in the playoffs, but longer term, trying to build a championship contender every year, what is Forsberg's sudden, ascendancy to superstar status? What do you think that does in his mind? In Barry Trotz's
in Barry Trotz's mind. Well, I think this solidifies that at first some decisions he's made on the first line there, but bringing O'Reilly in and bringing Nyquist in, because they are contributing. Like I said, I think I said this last week. The chemistry between those 3 guys is strong, really strong. And and Forsberg has become very comfortable playing with those two guys, and and they've got a lot of confidence in him. Plus, like I said, the more unstructured offense has given him a chance to unleash himself a little bit more than he may have been in the past. He's not quite as handcuffed as he might have been, and everything has come together for him. He's reaching superstar status. You're right. That's going to make the team a little more attractive, maybe to other players to come in. That type of thing. So we're going to see how it goes. But yeah, he's an all-star this year, and a lot of players are looking forward, especially Predators teammates, looking forward just to see how much of a chance he gets to showcase himself in the All-Star game in Toronto.
Let me go long-term picture, and then I'll turn it to Kelly. With Lankinen having been a very solid, if not better than solid, goaltender as the backup, you've got UC. And you've got the Russian kid sitting down at Milwaukee. And Barry Trotz's long-term plan, is it as simple as we're going to trade one of them eventually and try to get a haul?
Well, you could trade Saros, you could trade Askarov, and get more of a haul actually for Askarov than Saros right now, because Askarov's cheap. He's still an entry-level type goaltender. As far as salary goes, and not only is he an outstanding player, he's an all-star in the AHL this year with Milwaukee. He's got 3 shutouts in his last 4 outings. He's playing about as well as he's played ever. So he's very attractive right now. Lankinen, to me, Lankinen may be the odd man out in this, because Lankinen's playing really well, and a team. Trade deadline's March 8th, and the team is looking for a backup goaltender, to do worse than Lankinen. And it won't be the big haul that you might bring in with the Yaroslav Askarov or UC Saros maybe, but it would be it'd be a chance for Trotz to talk about the long term. It'd be a chance for Trotz to really get a look at Askarov for an extended period of time to see how things pan out next season. Saros is showing a lot of signs of exhaustion. He's looking tired. We're talking about the other day what's wrong with him. I've decided after watching him a little bit, he's getting tired. They need to use Lankinen more, because Lankinen's proven he can play against the top teams. I think 8 of the starts he's made have been against top 10 teams. And so as far as scoring goes. And so he's proven he can play on that level, and so give him a chance to play more. Give him a chance, give UC a chance to rest a little bit, because I think exhaustion usually results, especially a goaltender, usually results in a poor performance.
Kelly, your witness.
How you doing, man? You staying warm?
I'm trying to, Kelly. We can't wait for Saturday's show. It's going to be 4 degrees. So trip over there to Tullahoma, so that should be fun. But no, we missed you. I missed you last week. I asked George where you were. So, but
yeah, y'all did it. Y'all did it on Friday, man. I travel back and forth to Fayetteville on Fridays. That's why I told. I got to go see my mom, so I wasn't able to be on.
I understand that. I forgot we did Friday last week. That's true. What you got? What's on your mind?
Well, I was reading some stuff about Coach Brunette, and it seems like a little coach speak. I know they got beat, and Vegas won the whole thing last year, and they're a really good team. But he said he never felt like he was out of the game, and I think he's said that a couple of times. I mean, is that coach speak, or do you think that's a true case? I mean, they only scored 1 goal. I think Evangelista was the one that scored that goal. So is that coach speak, or does he feel that way?
I think he felt that way, and I think a lot of people felt that way. The Vegas Knights are an outstanding team, and and playing at home they're even more outstanding. So I think that I think they were in the game most of the way. It doesn't look like they were from a scoring standpoint, but they did play them pretty well overall. I thought it was just one of those games where those things did go their way. But yeah, I don't think that was coach speak. Coach speak. I think that was right, because he's not doing a lot of coach speak. When they play badly, he says they play badly, He's questioned them quite a bit this year. So he's not shy about doing that. So he felt like they were close, then they were close, but most people that watched them play felt like it was a much closer game than a 4-1 score.
I got you. So you watched them. You're an expert at all this. But what do you think they do well right now, and what do you think they're weak in that they need to work on?
They're moving the puck really well. Puck possession's a big thing in Andrew Burnett's offense and offensive style, and they're doing that. They're scoring more goals. They're scoring more goals than they have of late, and of course there's always a help. But I think the thing that offensively, I think they're doing great. But I think that what they've got to do defensively is those defensemen have to get used to the fact that they are no longer just defensemen; they're offensive defensemen now, and they've got to get used to that and going into and be more offensive-minded players. And I think, like I said, that has caused some of them to have a little consternation at times on the ice. So we need to see how all that goes.
So this is my last thing, Guy. I was reading something where, and they brought Andrew Burnett in too, to kind of pick up the offense, because it's been like Tennessee Titans here in the last couple of years, been kind of boring. But I saw where they were leading I think I saw this, where they were leading the NHL in shots on goal for the year and for each game. That's kind of the offense that we want to see from the Nashville Predators, correct?
That's exactly what Andrew Burnett was trying to do. Trying to two things: to increase their scoring, their shots on goal, and their scoring, and also to pump up their power play. Power play pumping up took a little while to do, but the power play has gradually improved this season, and that improvement should really be a help the next few weeks as things get a little tight as the standings go.
Guy, we're 69 days from opening day, but who's counting?
I know it's almost there, and I was reading a story today. It said, "No, the season's approaching." I go, "Gosh, it is approaching."
Yeah,
but I'll be in spring training March 5th, so in Arizona.
Ooh, good for you. Take me with you.
Yeah, you have to hear me speak if you go.
Let's do it, Mark. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Y'all be safe and warm out there.
You as well. Mark McGee joining us on the show. After the break, now we get back to the Metroplex. Dallas has made their decision. What does this mean for the Cowboys? What does it mean for Bill Belichick? Stay tuned.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Interesting musical medley there, huh? Okay, let's get to Dallas. Cowboys, as all of you know, have made the decision to retain Mike McCarthy. God only knows why, but that is the decision. So, guys, I want to speculate here for a minute. My guess is that at some point this week, Bill Belichick has picked up the phone to his boy Matt Patricia, and assuming Patricia could get the pencil out of his ear long enough to take the phone call, he probably has told Bill, look, not sure. Doesn't look like the Philly job's coming open. And with Dallas and maybe Philly not open, guys, doesn't this look more and more like Belichick will have no choice but to go to Atlanta?
That's what it seems like to me, George. I mean, that's what you're hearing. I agree. I just think that that's probably the best situation for him. However, in his press conference, he said that he didn't have to have total control of all that stuff. He didn't have to do players. I think the guy just wants to coach football, but I think Arthur Blank is willing to give him anything he wants to come there and try to get this Atlanta program up and running. Atlanta's such a huge city now, too. I mean, it's like the LA of the South, man. It's just so big now. And he's got to find him a quarterback if he does. But I think he's got pieces in place defensively and offensively. He's got the young running back. He's got some dudes that can catch the ball. So I think that I think Atlanta's probably going to be his fit. But, with me saying that, you and Billy have been the prognosticators, and y'all been way better at this than me. So I'm not totally sure, man. I don't want to give advice on that stuff, but I can see him being in Atlanta because of what Arthur Blank is willing to give him.
Billy, what it feels like is that Blank is saying, I need this franchise's credibility to go up. I need to get on Sunday Night Football. I need to get on whatever. And Belichick guarantees that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to Atlanta. I saw there's rumors going around Twitter. That's probably my advantage, Kelly, the Twitter. Sometimes you get stuff earlier than other people on Twitter. But
that is your advantage because I don't have that advantage.
Yeah, there's an account called NFL Rumors, and they've been like a day or two ahead of all the breaking news. But I mean, they're not right all the time. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I think he's going to Atlanta. And George, it's kind of like the Vrabel thing. I don't know that Belichick would enjoy living and coaching out west, and whether it would be Los Angeles. I just don't see Belichick going on a walk in LA. I think he would prefer Atlanta or Washington. But yeah, George, he has a chance if he goes to Atlanta. You'll be able to draft a quarterback. What spot do they have? I mean, do they have a top 5 pick? They're either way, they're up there.
I don't think they're top 5. I don't have top
because
top 10.
They had a chance to win the division in that last game. I mean, they were still in it.
But for instance, could you say, let's just make up one here. We're good at that. Kirk Cousins, if you dumped him into that deal right now, they're a playoff contender. I mean, they were damn close with Arthur Smith with a pile of junk for quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why you got to call him a pile of junk for quarterback there?
Because that's what it's been, Kelly.
I mean, those guys are doing their best, man. I mean, I was in that situation before.
Right. But here's the thing.
I mean, I agree.
Kelly always takes up for the quarterback, the quarterback.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, they've got to have somebody under center that can win games. I just don't know if Desmond Ritter's the guy. I mean, and then, the Heineke guy he's kind of a, he made his name in Washington, but they weren't very good. He won some games for him, but I agree. He's got to get somebody, and I think Kirk Cousins would be a perfect. I have liked Kirk Cousins for a long time, man. The guy came in and he was behind RG3 and he just waited his time and he got his opportunity to play and he played well and he's still playing well. I hated what happened to him last year, but you can see Minnesota moving on from him, and I can see a Bill Belichick picking up a veteran guy like that who's got a team right now that's ready to win. And if you can squeeze 2 or 3 more years out of him, that's a perfect fit.
Well, another guy, George, is Baker Mayfield. He signed, a 1-year prove-it deal in Tampa, and they're going to have to make a decision on him. My gut tells me they're going to keep him. I mean, I don't see why they'd go away from him. But if they don't, I think Belichick with Baker, this is hypothetical, but Belichick with a guy like Mayfield in Atlanta, who will have a chip on his shoulder. Belichick probably have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder too. After, I don't know if he's unhappy with how it ended in New England, but I don't know that he's also perfectly fine with it. So I don't know. I could see Cousins, Belichick, and Mayfield. Who else? Maybe it's a veteran quarterback.
Tampa can't let Baker out.
If they do. I don't think they will, but that Mayfield, I think, would be another option.
I think you keep Baker Mayfield and you try to draft somebody for the next couple of years. I mean, I can see that happening. Maybe him being a stopgap for that.
Here is one that is free and available. Ryan Tannehill.
He doesn't really.
He doesn't move the barometer for you, big dog.
That doesn't really move the needle for.
But remember, this is the weakest division going right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But you see how a division can turn around in just one draft. I mean, the AFC South was pitiful, and now they drafted 3 quarterbacks, and now they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
The Falcons actually have the 8th overall pick. So, what quarterbacks are available?
Yeah. So let's go to Dallas for a minute. So Jerry makes the decision. The one guy it appears Jerry listens to is his son, Steven. Steven's cool with this? Really? I mean, is he not going home saying to Jerry's wife, Mom, he's losing his marbles?
I think if you're those guys, though, you have to look in the mirror, and I think they really thought they had what it took to get to deep into the playoffs with a playoff run. And I think they learned really fast that your defensive line has got to get better in the interior of it. You've got to have some you got to have some guys that can stop the run. You have to stop the run in the National Football League. If you can't stop the run, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because people are going to get 4, 5, 6 yards on first down, and then you're behind the chains every time. Now, they were great when they got you behind the chains, maybe a penalty or maybe you have a tackle for loss or something like that, because they can pin their ears back and they can rush the pass. That's what they can do. But, you got to look at yourself in the mirror as a front office exec and say, hey, we've got to get better. I mean, I think if they think they got their coach, they've got to do those. They've got to do that, and they've got to get Dak he's got to get over that mental block of being in the playoffs. You just got to win. I mean, that's what it really boils down to. You've got to make plays in the playoffs and get your team, put them on your shoulders, and it's going to come down to the end of the game. You got to make plays, and you got to win the game.
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
wasn't this what they got rid of Kellen Moore for? The belief that he was the reason for all this?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't understand what they're doing.
Now
I mean,
you blame.
My whole deal with all that. Yeah, sorry, Billy, but my whole deal with all that was they got rid of Kellen Moore because he thought Kellen Moore threw the ball too much. Well, then McCarthy gets to doing the same thing. So, if you wanted Tony Pollard and you got rid of Zeke Elliott, you wanted Tony Pollard. Well, Tony Pollard, I don't know if he was he did good with Zeke, but he's a good player, but you have to have somebody else. You got to be able to somebody that's bigger, that get some yardage, and you can't put everything on the quarterback. And I felt like that's why he got rid of Kellen Moore, because he thought that Kellen Moore threw the ball too much. Well, you're the head coach. Tell him, hey, let's run the ball here. Let's get some running in here. And then he goes and he does the exact same thing.
Yeah,
Billy, it hit me in the loss to Detroit. Well, let me take that back. The win over Detroit that felt like a loss. They couldn't run for squat. The only reason they were in that game was Dak, because they can't run.
Yeah, it's nice to have a regular season coach, that everybody thinks real highly of, like Mike McCarthy. But I think every organization would rather have a coach that you think highly of as a postseason coach. You may struggle. You may have some rough patches in the regular season, but when the playoffs come around, you're confident in your coach. As a Cowboy fan, there's zero confidence in Mike McCarthy in the playoffs. I mean, I'd like to know that as a Cowboy fan, if I'm a Cowboy fan, that, okay, we have an advantage now. We're in the playoffs. He had success in Green Bay. I know that, but it hasn't worked out, guys. I mean, I don't know what they're doing.
Well, here's the thing, Billy, too. When you talk about having success in Green Bay, I mean, he was able to get a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but he went to a couple of AFC championship games that they had at home, and he got beat. And Aaron Rodgers didn't play well. So, what's the common denominator there? You've got one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play the game, and, he did win a Super Bowl, but they never got back to another one, and that was – you go up against Eli, against the New York Giants, you lose there. He had one here recently where they lost as well. I mean, you've got everything going for you. You're playing really good. You get to the NFC Championship game. It's at home. The weather's cold. It's snowing. You should be a heavy favorite, and you can't get past it anymore. So I don't know. There's a common denominator there somewhere.
Billy, here's what now is developing there. There now is a mental baggage in Dallas, similar to, for instance, what the Buffalo Bills used to face when they went to 4 Super Bowls and won none of them. What the Braves of the 90s faced. The difference is the Braves won one, the Bills got to Super Bowls. Hell, Dallas hadn't gotten out of the opening round stuff. And there's some real mental baggage. And you saw it when Green Bay scored to go up 7-0. They might as well have flown a helicopter over the stadium and said, oh, crap.
And if I'm a Cowboy fan right now, I'm livid, because Mike McCarthy comes out earlier today and says, in quote, "We have established a championship program. I know how to win, and we will get over that threshold."
And they might. But what was the other part was get on board?
Yeah. I mean,
for me, the get on board, I'm on standby. You got to show me some stuff first.
I'm hanging out at the airport. I'm not leaving. I'm not hopping on board that plane.
Right. I'm on standby. Win me a game, and then I'll get on the plane. And you know what? There's going to be that attitude in Dallas of we don't give a damn what you do in the regular season. It now all comes down to playoffs or bust. Mental baggage. There's a lot of it in Dallas.
Hey Billy, what's the situation with all these other teams, with Seattle, with what is it the same? Is it the same people that's popping up for head coaching spots that we kind of listed yesterday?
Yeah, I mean Vrabel, Harbaugh, Belichick a little bit, but yeah, Vrabel. I think all of a sudden Vrabel has had a lot of interest in the last 24 hours or so with Seattle, Atlanta, and the Chargers. But yeah, it's weird. They're all interviewing the same guys. I mean, it
always
feels like
happens
that's
that way.
Yeah. So everybody's saying,
unless somebody picks up the phone and calls Saban and says, "Are you really sure you're quitting?" I'll guarantee you a year from now, there will be some people call him to say, "Okay, you've sat for a year. Are you losing your mind? Are you going crazy?"
Correct.
Well,
And
Dan
by the
Quinn,
way, it wouldn't shock me if somebody called Pete Carroll.
why not? That
Somebody
somebody has
man. He's getting up there.
So is Belichick. We haven't talked about that, but Belichick is. Let me prove this.
71.
71.
Right.
I mean, that's old. So
well,
you don't look
your
71,
RA
Billy.
Won't feel quite the same as you do now.
He doesn't look 71, Billy. Like George doesn't look 69 either. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not 69. Thank you for the thought. This is where this segment ends, right here. There will be no more discussion. But after the break, Ron Bargatze will join us, and we're going to get down and dirty on the Vandy job. It's coming open in March, and if it doesn't, but it's going to. And how do the coaches around the country view it? Coach B will join us next.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Well, it was all Auburn last night over Vandy. We'll talk about that. And dive into the state of the program with Coach B coming up. But first, stat of the day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards out in Shelbyville. They're open Tuesday through Friday. Not this week, I don't think, though, from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what we got cooked up for today. We're going NBA. Joel Embiid currently leads the league in points per game again this season. Who was the last player to lead the league in points per game in 3 straight seasons?
Okay. Billy, give us one hint. It doesn't go back as far as Wilt Chamberlain, correct?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So, Kelly, the obvious would fall under Michael, Kobe, LeBron. You think
I was thinking Michael or Kobe. I don't know about LeBron.
Okay. You want to go Michael?
I mean, yeah, we're probably not right, but yeah.
Let's go Michael.
Incorrect. It is James Harden.
Oh, my God. Now, wait a minute.
James Harden.
Scored or field goals attempted?
Points per game.
I'd say field goals attempted. He's got to be 60 field goals attempted a game.
Either that or dribbles per game.
You're talking about a guy that the ball just stops. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
would hate playing with that guy.
Yeah.
Was he? I wonder if did he go to college? He was at Arizona State, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they didn't teach him to pass over there because he
wasn't into that. Give me the ball and get out of the way.
Me.
ISO.
No question. Billy, is Coach B ready?
He is.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Oh, looky there. Coach B, how you doing?
Getting out of the snow, buddy.
So what's your confidence level driving it?
Pretty good. Driving you in it, it'd be a little testy because, you don't do very well in those conditions.
Coach B, I drove to Memorial Gym last night and had no difficulty whatsoever.
Well, no cars on the road.
No, that wasn't it. It was that the roads were clear, remain calm, all is well. Meanwhile, if you go to the grocery store, oh my God, they're having a field day.
I did that a couple of days ago. The self-checkout line had 41 people in it.
That's not
nothing to do but count the people. That's it.
That's not good. So you know where I'm going to start this. I would have given anything to have had Bruce Pearl's real thoughts last night. I remember in 2008 when he brought his Tennessee team in. They had just become #1 in the country. They had gone to Memphis and won, and now they were playing a top 20 Vandy. And Memorial Gym has never been more explosive than that night. They did a whiteout. They were hanging from the rafters. And then last night you walk in and Billy, help me, 60%, 70% Auburn?
Yeah, probably closer to 70.
Yeah. So here's what I walked out of here with, Coach B. Barring just complete, just not even caring about the program, you have to make a coaching change at the end of the year. This team is going to end up, come SEC tournament time, somewhere between 6-25 and 9-22 overall. About the max anybody thinks they're going to win the conference is 4 games. Would you buy that?
Well, before I comment on that for right now, I'd like to look at a big picture situation here. Growing up in Nashville, I was I was kind of a Vandy basketball fan and a UT football fan, although I like Vandy, equally well in football. But George, one thing I always recognized about Vandy sports is the camaraderie that you have between ex-players, the fans. And of course, that was a different era of time because for a long time, up until probably the late 80s, maybe even into the early 90s, Vanderbilt basketball was the number one slot on the personal sports level. Now, I think it's probably 17 or 18 at best. What kind of participation is there between former players who've always been a very loyal, exciting group? C.M. Newton started the Vanderbilt Rebounders Club. Eddie Fogler picked it up, and it was very important. And there was just a great camaraderie there and a lot of feeling of pride among that population. And that is non-existent now. No one cares. And you can look in the crowds now and see that it goes well beyond the group of former players and guys who coached there like myself. And it's just a very much of an apathy situation that is probably the worst. Being upset is one thing, but not caring is a lot worse.
I've been very bothered by the lack of relationship between this coaching staff and former players. And I've been saying that for a long time. So I do put the blame right there in the right-hand corner of that picture because he's the guy that ultimately controls all of this. Let's look at his record right now in the 5 years he's been here. And Coach B, it looked like he was turning a corner a year ago, but clearly in the offseason, he got nothing done. They got a bunch of mid-major players and two pretty darn good guards and a third player in Jason Rivera-Torres that he has no clue how to use and has not used him well at all. You can't be in your fifth year and have those numbers.
Well, the proof's in the pudding, and, it's all about the numbers and how you finish. And, you are what your record says you are. Who said that?
Bill
Parcells.
Yeah.
It's just really sad because people are, if you can go to Jason's Deli in Brentwood, or you can go to some of the watering holes around. There's no conversation about Vanderbilt athletics, and only really negatives about the Vanderbilt basketball program. I've met Jerry 4 times. If I ran into him today, he wouldn't have any idea who I was. I could pass him in the hallway. James Strong is the guy that I helped move in the dorm when I went back to Vandy in 1996, and really a great guy. He was at Belmont for a long time. He's the only coach I know on the staff, and it's always been a really tight-knit group. Everybody looking out for each other, trying to help each other get excited about games, try to get close to your buddies when you get season tickets and that sort of thing. It's not going on right now.
So, Coach B, I'm going to go on the assumption that whether they want to make a coaching change or not, they're not going to have any choice. And that at the end of the year, at the end of the season, they're going to have to do that or they're really going to catch it. What I want to know from you is, what's the perception of college coaches about this job, maybe compared to 25, 30 years ago?
If it were open and let's just, for instance, I remember when Coach Kramer, in a very clandestine kind of way, hired Eddie Fogler to come to Vanderbilt. And that was the biggest story going on at that time. C.M. Newton had just left, and Eddie came in. And, man, it was a huge story. And I go back to the leadership in the athletic department when I tell you that there was a time when Vanderbilt athletics were considered to be among the best in the country in terms of leadership. Coach Kramer was reason for that. But you look back on some of the athletic director hires in the history of Vanderbilt and can see where I'll tell you about a really interesting meeting. We met one day. We had just won the SEC in basketball. The football team had gone to the Peach Bowl, and Larry Smitto won a SEC championship in baseball. And we had a meeting with our new athletic director, Clay Stapleton, who called us all in a big room and said, "There's a new sheriff in town. We're going to get this thing straightened out." I thought that was one of the most, and I was in that meeting, so I can remember the feeling, and everybody kind of looked at each other, and we're doing pretty good here. I can't imagine why we need to have a new sheriff in town. But it went downhill fast in terms of leadership and that. And then we had the Paul Houlihan era, which was absolutely a joke, to lose Eddie Fogler over $40,000. And that's the number Eddie told me it was at the time for some things he wanted. And Eddie seemed to be as good a fit as we've ever had in any sport at Vanderbilt, maybe with the exception of our baseball coach, who's done a pretty good job, and just unbelievable, really.
So, Coach B, I'm going to do kind of like I did after the Titans lost to Seattle, to Cleveland, when I said, look, who's kidding who? At best, this is a 7-10. I've seen this long enough to believe this is going to be something like 9-22 or 8-23 or whatever. And as a fifth-year coach, that's not going to cut it. So when they get forced to make a change, what level of interest is there in this job today? What's your gut feeling?
Well, that's you asked that a moment ago, and I took off on my tangent there, but
it was a good one.
How attractive is the job to the good young, the good coaches that might be available? I would say it's probably well down the list from what it was when Eddie Fogler came, when Kevin Stallings came. You look at Kevin Stallings and you thought, man, wish we had old Kevin back. We'd be in contention there, and everybody would know each other, and there'd be that special feeling around the program. It's not there now.
So, Coach B, there's some stuff that Stackhouse put out there last week in his post-game radio against Ole Miss. Now, to me, the timing of it was stupid because it looked very self-centered. It looked, as it always does with him, of I'm not to blame for anything. He should have put it out there a year ago in better times where he had more people willing to listen. But he said it. How big a problem is it?
The attractiveness of the job? Is that the question?
No, Billy, help me with the thing Stackhouse put out there.
Yeah, I know what he said. He said, best team money can buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's being used by a lot of people who are losing games now because the NIL and the transfer portal have absolutely changed college athletics in a way that you can't even fathom. And to me, I think it makes it less attractive. You take the top 10 to 15 programs in college football right now, and beyond that, you really have a hard time identifying that old college spirit, the spirit of amateurism, of student athletes, and that sort of thing. The transfer portal and the NIL situation have ripped those to pieces.
Coach
George, he also,
go ahead, Billy.
At the end of it said, you go into the portal, you got to add juniors and seniors, right? That's what teams are doing now. He said, we don't add juniors and seniors at Vanderbilt. They just don't transfer to us. So is that a true statement or is that an excuse?
Has Vanderbilt made that statement? Have they made that clear? Is that the current situation that they will not let in the graduate transfers and people who are upperclassmen?
Well, technically not. I mean, Ezra Mannion was a transfer senior. So they've added one. I think he's the only one, but I don't think it's impossible. And they haven't come out with anything saying, we won't do that.
Well, here's the other thing, Coach B. I keep hearing an amount of money, for instance, to Tyron Lawrence in NIL that is way into six figures, more like $250,000 kind of stuff. So, I can't sit there and say when I hear that they're not willing to pony up to some extent.
You say they, and obviously the NIL money does not come from their athletic budget. It comes from it's a total different structure, and by having a lack of camaraderie, a lack of spirit, a lack of caring about the programs, who's going to put that money up?
That's a good point, because it is coming from fans technically.
So let's go one step deeper with this, Coach B. Is the Vandy job, when it comes open, simply mid-majors? Do you have any sitting Power Fives that would even sniff this job? Give me some thoughts.
Well, that's a great question, and it's looking beyond the situation we're in right now, for sure. But there are a lot of young coaches who are, they're guys who pop up every year that you've never heard of before, who all of a sudden have that it factor about them. There'd be some really good coaches. I'm not saying they can go and rob from another Power 5 program and be able to get someone that's going to automatically win the press conference for them. I think it's going to have to be, you got to have someone making that hire who knows how to identify someone from probably, let's say, a coaching tree that can identify, a terrific coaching prospect. And I don't know who keeps up with that or if anyone at Vandy could handle it. And I see can everyone see the graphics that I'm seeing right now?
Yes.
Somebody said Drew Maddox.
Well, I'll tell you, I mentioned him in a conversation with some recently. I think you need to know Drew to understand he's a terrific basketball guy. He grew up in an era, particularly in the late 80s and through the 90s, where the game changed drastically, where in many cases for high school athletes, the independent league coach or the summer coach or AAU, however you want to categorize that, became as or more important than the high school coach. And so he knows that world of independent basketball. And if you know Drew Maddox, he's going to be successful no matter what he does. He'd be a terrific coach at Vandy. I don't think there's any question about it.
Okay, we're going to go to the break on that. Kelly, I've opened up all kinds of stuff here and have sort of left you with take it wherever you want to go.
Well, I was going to I got to ask him one question because he brought it up. First of all, Coach, I apologize that George. I said that to everybody that comes on.
Hold on, Kelly. Can we go to the break first?
Okay, I didn't know. I thought that's what you said, but you had it on me. Okay, let's go.
We'll go to the break, and then Kelly and Coach B will go at it. I'm sure there'll be a cheap shot or two. I would expect nothing less from Kelly. We're back after this. The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Coach Ron Bargatze joining us for what will be a weekly visit. Later in the season, Lee Fowler will join him, and then we'll call them the Insiders. Not that Coach B isn't an insider. He is. That's why I went down the road that I went with him. Kelly, you've been listening to this. Go wherever you want or take it elsewhere.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Good to meet you. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions that I'm gonna hand it over to another door for life. We got the Vols for life, so I'm gonna hand it over to another door for life, which is Billy. But just talking. Let me just talk one thing about the Vandy deal. How has it gone so bad? So, what is the deal? Is it recruiting? Is it coaching? What's the deal?
Well, as you watch Vandy lineup right now, they have I think Lawrence and Mannion are nice set of guards, both of them in the top 20 in SEC in scoring. But how many points can they get from the block? Now, I know the game has changed a lot, and it's a three-point game. As a matter of fact, I think the top 10 scorers in the SEC right now are perimeter players. And, Robbins, I thought, was a very solid big man. He got hurt last year, and that really hurt them. But they made a nice run last year, and everybody got kind of excited. But here we are this year, and we have Vandy players spread around the league, playing here and there, and doing pretty well. But I don't know. Retention is a hard thing now. It's not like it used to be, and I know coaches used to really kind of get their feelings hurt when guys wanted to transfer out. Now that transfer is so available to them through the transfer portal and NIL money and the things that can attract a guy to go elsewhere. It's like any player who ever played for Louis Thompson should have gotten a heck of a deal on the NIL. That's all I can say.
Coach Thompson, I just played golf with him a couple of weeks ago. How you know Coach? You know Coach from way back?
Well, Kelly, you must be new to this area because I'm old as I can be, and Louis and I were at Austin Peay together. He in football and me in
absolutely.
Basketball. But I've known Louis. Do you know where Louis Thompson came to Lincoln County High School from?
Unicoi County.
And what town was that? Irwin, Tennessee?
Maybe. I don't know. I just knew Unicoi County is all I knew.
Well, that's up awesome. That's way up east, almost as far east as you can go. And Irwin is known for one thing more than anything else, other than being a place that Louis Thompson revived his coaching career after he left college coaching and ended up down there with a great run at Lincoln County High School. But Irwin, Tennessee is the town in East Tennessee who the parade came to town, and an elephant got loose during the parade and trampled a guy and killed him.
Okay.
And they had a big trial down there where they pronounced the elephant guilty and hung him by a crane. So if you want to go deep, things can happen in East Tennessee where they can't happen anywhere in the state.
That is awesome. Yeah, I played golf with Coach Thompson about 2 or 3 months ago. It's a little bit warmer, but have you talked to Coach lately?
Not much. Actually, I meet with a group for lunch from Fayetteville. Dick Farrar and his group get together.
Okay.
And I worked for a company that was run by a guy named Harold Moore, who was with CFW Construction and had a background there. So I'm pretty familiar. I've eaten at the jail there a few times.
Oh my goodness! You know my dad. My dad worked for CFW for many years.
Really?
Yeah, John Holcomb. I don't know if you know that name.
No, I don't. But Kelly Holcomb has made everybody in that family famous.
I don't know about that. Man. That's awesome. But
what about the transfer? Pardon?
Well, that's what I was about to ask you. That's what I was going to ask you because you talked about it, and you seem like an old school guy like myself. And I told Billy I'm upset. I'm obsessed about this transfer portal and this NIL stuff. And I'm just not a big fan. I mean, we had guys when I played at Middle transfer in. That happens sometimes. I get it. But now you got guys and I thought we talked about it the other day. I thought it was just a one-time transfer, but you're getting all these quarterbacks and you're getting all these other guys. They're transferring 2 and 3 and 4 times in their career. And it's taken the amateur status out of college athletics, and now it's made it professional. And I'm not a fan. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to implode itself. But me saying that, I mean, football is the best thing going right now. And you're getting all these kids from Alabama that are going to Texas, and they're all hitting the transfer portal. What are your thoughts on the transfer portal?
Well, and doing a lot of color for basketball, football, and whatever else through the National Federation of High School Sports and the TSSAA. When you're prepared to do a game, you always find out where a guy went to high school. Now you got to add maybe 1 or 2 stops at colleges in addition to where he might be playing on that particular time. So, Kelly, I hate it. I think it's done more to destroy, amateur athletics because they're no longer amateur. It's not like the old college try and building a program and developing players. It's every year taking stock. Where can I find a better deal now? I despise it. I hate it. I don't have near as much interest in college athletics as I used to because of that.
And this will be my last deal, Coach.
Okay.
SEC. You're looking at the SEC this year. Everybody thinks the ACC and all this, but the SEC. I was looking at the standings. There's only 2 teams, Missouri and Vandy, that have losing records. What is your overall assessment of what you've seen so far from all the SEC teams?
Well, in Vandy's case, I don't think it being 5-12 overall and 0-4 in the conference doesn't really tell the story, because they had four opponents in pre-conference play that they should beat like a drum. As a matter of fact, Jerry alluded to that at the media day and said he was going to beat something out of them, and that didn't happen because they had a very weak pre-conference schedule overall. So I don't know. They're good enough at guard; they can hang in games, but they can't. Not much scoring threat from the block at all, and rebounding is not of their forte. So a lot of second chance points given up, and just getting oversized, and outsized, out height inside, and it's going to be a very difficult hole to dig out of.
Coach B, it's good to talk to you again. Kelly mentioned, Vandy, and you kind of talked about their struggles a little bit. You were, and George has told me this, hearing about it, you were a great recruiter locally here while you were on staff at Vanderbilt. Obviously, it was a long time ago, but, recruiting is still important, right? As important as the transfer portal and NIL is, you still have to bring in high school kids to build your program. Doesn't feel like Jerry Stackhouse has really done well in that area, and hasn't really retained many of the freshmen that he's brought in. I know there's a kid coming in from BA, Tyler Tanner. They've got a couple other kids, but I personally just don't think they've done a good enough job in high school recruiting. Do you think it's still as important to bring in high school kids to support your program as it is, to bring in portal kids?
Absolutely. And I think that Vanderbilt would have a little better chance at retaining players by the nature of being the most academic of schools in the SEC, and being in the best city in the SEC. I think that Vandy would have a better chance for retaining them. If they can be slightly competitive in the NIL market, I think they have a better chance to retain players than most schools, because I think they understand the value and the joy of living in our city, and have a chance to develop an old-fashioned career path. And by the way, Tyler Tanner is, I think, absolutely a great point guard, and I think he is really, really special, and could be among the best point guards who ever played at Vandy. And there have been some good ones.
No doubt, Coach. I want to switch gears here a little bit. Stay local, though, with Belmont and Lipscomb. Belmont lost a tough one last night at Northern Iowa. I was at the Lipscomb-Austin Peay game. Lipscomb, even with players out, they got a couple of guys hurt. That's a good Lipscomb team. I'm hoping they make the tournament. Out of Belmont or Lipscomb, you think one or two of them make the tournament? Can they both make the tournament? What's the outlook on those two?
Well, Lipscomb is still playing out without a very, very, very good player. And now, arguably the best all-around player in the Belmont program is Jacoby Gillespie from Greenville, Tennessee. He's a really, really nice guard. Belmont is only a shadow of what they could be when he gets back, and if he can. He has a broken left wrist, and but along those lines, I think that we are so fortunate to have the coaches in Nashville that we have at Lipscomb, Belmont, Trevecca. Kevin Carroll has done a phenomenal job there. They were averaging winning 2 conference games a year the last 5 or 6 years, and they're 7-0 and leading that conference right now, and 12-3 overall record. So they've shown great. You got Penny Collins, who's done a good job at Tennessee State to bring their program up. And so I think the leadership from the bench in our city college teams is good. I'm very disappointed at seeing Vanderbilt at 0-4, 5-12 overall, with what I would consider a patsy schedule leading up to the conference. And I think they're good enough to stay in games, but I can't see them winning more than maybe 4 or 5 games at the most. And knocking off someone in a big upset doesn't seem realistic right now.
Last thing for me, Coach, Tennessee is rolling. Dalton Connect is unbelievable. I mean, he kind of reminds me of watching Kevin Durant when Rick Barnes was coaching him at Texas. I mean, he's
what about Rick Bird? Rick Bird, Larry Bird. No, Rick is a lot better player than. Larry's a lot better player than Rick. But I think he's the best player in the conference, and I think he's going to be the player of the year in the conference if he stays healthy. So he's a terrific addition to that team. And how many guys out of Northern Colorado are going to be able to come in and be the SEC player of the year?
Rarely. What do you think? I mean, how much of an impact will he make? I mean, does in the tournament, because that's where Rick Barnes has struggled, and I know they were at the Sweet 16 last year, but can Dalton Connect kind of get them out of that hole?
Yes, he's certainly physically capable of doing that, and I love his attitude. I love his he doesn't pass up many good shots, and he went on a streak this past week, and the game against Florida. I thought he had about a 10-minute stretch where I haven't seen a player maybe since maybe Pete Maravich or someone like him, or the little guard from LSU that was so good he changed his name to an Islamic name. Help me remember.
Abdul Rauf. Chris Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, not many players can dominate a period of a game like Dalton Connect can, but I love him as a player, and he gives Tennessee the chance to, you almost didn't notice some of the other teammates that we counted on being great players for them this year, because he can command a presence on the court and pull the guys with him and make everybody better around him.
Coach B, let me end it this way. When I watched Tennessee a couple of nights ago just dismantle Florida, you never felt like Florida was going to win that game. But then there's a part of me saying, even though I'm a Rick Barnes fan, doesn't it always look this way in January? And
not always. I don't think, last year they had such a difficult time scoring from the perimeter. Vescovi, is going to jump up and make a few shots. And the fact that Connect, as good as he is, it's going to really help Vescovi get more good open shots. And they've got a nice presence in the paint now. MMM has got to step up and be the scorer that he's capable of being. So I think Tennessee right now is going to be awfully hard to beat. They're going to lose some games. I think that they have a few head scratcher losses along the way, but I think by tournament time they have a chance to do well.
Are they a Final Four possibility?
I would not say they couldn't make it there. I think they're certainly a top 10 team in the league. I don't know. I still think Connecticut's got the best team in the NCAA right now.
They sure looked good last night in ripping up Creighton. Coach B, thank you as always.
Yes, sir.
Coach Ron Bargatze joining us. Hope you enjoyed some of the places that we were able to take it with him. After the break, maybe some explaining to do about plaster bet of the day. Stay tuned.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Hit Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Final segment on a Thursday. Got a little bit of college hoops action tonight. We'll see where George is going with Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Log and McCall, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. Let's check out what happened last night. And George, what's going on?
Well, why don't you put the graphic up there and let's look at it.
That's lovely.
Oops. Yeah. Okay. Well, stuff happens, Billy.
I think you bet with your heart on the Bruins.
You know, they're finding the Missouri Valley Conference to be harder than I think they thought it would be. Now, they've had a big injury that has hurt them, but, you know, the obviously this is a huge step up from the OVC, and anybody who just thought they were going to waltz through this conference might think again. It's a very good and very underrated conference, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know, Northern Iowa's not even. I mean, they're good, but there's still some. You know, Drake, Bradley. There's some really good teams up there at the top.
There are a bunch of teams in that league that would rip Vandy.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was asking somebody, Joey, who we've had on, I said, you think Lipscomb, because we were at the Lipscomb game, I said, you think Lipscomb beats Vandy? And he said, I think they've got a great shot to. There's, you know, worse teams have beaten Vandy this year. So Coach B talked about it. There's some really good basketball if you look hard enough in the mid-state.
Well, Billy, the one area that, and I realize we're getting off track here, they've got a really explosive offensive player in Jason Rivera-Torres, and I think Stackhouse has butchered the playing time for that kid. I don't get it.
Yeah, Ken agrees. He said he thinks he should be starting. I've heard it's his defense.
Well, sure, great, but what the hell difference does it make? You're 5 and whatever, put the ball in the hole a little bit.
Kelly, how do you fix Vandy basketball?
I can't tell y'all that, man. I just know this, what you're saying. If it's defense, then you just have to work on it. You have to bring that kid into your office and say, hey, you'll be starting if you get your defense better.
Well,
let's go. I mean, pick your game up. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a running back, a young running back that can't pass protect. I mean, he's explosive. He might be really good, but you got to be able to pass protect. So,
or running back when you come out of the huddle and he always asks you, "Hey, what I got, man? What I got?" And then at some point, the quarterback that's playing with him blows up and cusses him a little and tell him get in his playbook. You know what I'm saying? Grow up at some point.
Everybody better wake up a little bit on this because this is going nowhere at present. So you can sit him on the bench all you want, but at some point when he's forced to play him, the guy delivers some big offensive numbers. What they're doing with him makes no sense to me.
What's he trying to do, George? Is he trying to prove a point or something?
I think players get in and out of his doghouse constantly. I don't get his who plays and who doesn't play and when and where. Billy, do you find yourself wondering?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you never know what's going to happen. Whether it's he blew up at Tyron Lawrence. He wasn't happy with Tyron Lawrence several weeks back. He's had almost every press conference where you just don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. Yeah, George, there's just nothing. There's nothing really positive to say.
No, there really isn't, and I'm not going to say it. Anyway, there's not much positive off plaster bet of the day from last night. So we turned the page.
I'm not used to this inconsistency, George. I'm not used to this.
I know. We've got to get it going. So tonight we're going to Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Wolverines have just come off a win over Ohio State. They're an underdog tonight at home against Illinois, who I believe is overrated. Michigan, Wolverines, no Jim Harbaugh, take Michigan.
George, you're not making money for the people, man. I'm over this. Let's go. You got to pick your game. I mean, get your defense better. Let's go, son.
I know. It's time.
It's time.
12 and 16 can get you fired. 5 and 22 does get you fired. 12 and 16 might.
I mean, your Kareem skyhook ain't working anymore. Come up with another game. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. It's always good to have you on. It's so positive and uplifting. Okay, tomorrow on the show, Mark Griffin will join us. We'll ask him, is Dalton Connect the best player at Tennessee since Allen Houston, since Bernard King, since Ernie Grunfeld? Will Dalton Connect start to connect in all of that? And we will talk the attractiveness or lack thereof of the Titans head coaching job.
Okay.
I
don't know.
See you Monday.
Have fun in Fayette, Vegas, Kelly.
Fayette, Vegas, baby. I'll see y'all. Hopefully I get there. I mean, this winter weather that George is scared of, I got to see if I can make it.
Come on, wake up. Let's go. Come on, grow up. You can make it.
George, that stuff doesn't bother me. You need me to come down to Nashville and take you to the store to get you some bread and milk costs?
I would love that. Come on.
I mean, I lived up north for 13 years. I know how to drive in this crowd. Let's go, man. People down here act like it's Armageddon. I don't understand it.
You know what? Just deal with it. Okay? I'm tired of your belly aching.
See y'all.
See ya. See you, Billy.
See ya.